You must clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean? What do you mean, Algie, by Cecily? I don't know anyone by the name of Cecily.
Do you have that cigarette case that Mr. Worthing left with us the last time he dined here? Oh, thank you. Oh, now that I read the inscription inside, I find that the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times, and you've no right to read what is written inside. It is a very ungentlemanly thing to read a private cigarette case.
Yes, but this isn't your case. This case is a present from someone of the name of Cecily, and you said you didn't know anyone of that name.
Well, if you want to know, Cecily happens to be my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady she is too. Lives at Tunbridge Wells. Just give it back to me.
Yes, but why does your dear Aunt Cecily, who lives at Tunbridge Wells, call herself Little? From little Cecily with her fondest love.
What on earth is there in that? Some aunts are tall. Some aunts are not tall. That is a matter that surely an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself.
Oh, yes. But why does your aunt call you her uncle? From little Cecily with her fondest love to her dear Uncle Jack. I admit that I have no faults about an aunt being a small aunt, but why any aunt, no matter her size, should call her own nephew her uncle, I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all, it's Ernest.
It isn't Ernest. It's Jack.
You have always told me it was Ernest. I have introduced you to everyone as Ernest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You look as if your name was Ernest. You are the most earnest-looking person I ever met. Oh, it's on one of your cards. Here's one. Mr. Ernest Worthing, before the Albany. I'll keep this as a proof that your name is Ernest if you ever attempt to deny it to me, or to Gwendolyn, or to anyone else.
Well, my name is Ernest in town, and Jack in the country. And the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but that still does not account for the fact that your small Aunt Cecily, who lives at Tunbridge Wells, calls you her uncle. My dear boy, you better much have the thing out at once.
You speak exactly as if you were a dentist. It produces a false impression.
I have always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret Bunburyist. Oh, and I'm quite sure of it now.
Bunburyist? What do you mean by Bunburyist?
Oh, I'll tell you the meaning of that incomparable expression once you tell me why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
There's nothing will induce me. Produce my cigarette case first.
Well, there it is. Now, produce your explanation. And pray make it improbable.
There is nothing improbable about my explanation at all. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me in his will guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle, from motives of respect that you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss Prison.
Where is that place in the country, by the way?
That is nothing to you, dear boy. You are not going to be invited, and I may tell you candidly that the place is not in Shropshire.
I suspected that. I have Bunburyed all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now, go on. Why are you Ernest in town and Jack in the country?
I don't know if you'll be able to understand my real motives. You're hardly serious enough. When one is placed in the position of guardian, one must adopt a very high moral tone on all subjects. It's one's duty to do so, and as a high moral tone can hardly be said to conduce very much either to one's health or one's happiness. In order to get up to town, I have always pretended to have a younger brother by the name of Ernest, who lives in the Albany and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That's the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. No, what you are is a Bunburyist. I was quite right in saying that you were a Bunburyist. You are the most advanced Bunburyist I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a very useful younger brother named Ernest, in order that you may be able to come up to town as often as you like. I have invented an invaluable permanent invalid friend named Bunbury, in order that I may be able to go down to the country as often as I please.
What nonsense!
It is not nonsense. Bunbury is perfectly invaluable. In fact, if it wasn't for Bunbury's extraordinary bad health, for instance, I shouldn't be able to dine with you in the Savoy tonight, for I've been quite engaged to Aunt Augusta for almost a week now.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know.
Well, I can't dine at the Savoy. I owe them about £700. They're always getting judgments and things against me.
Well, then why don't you pay them? You've got heaps of money.
Yes, but Ernest hasn't, and I must keep up Ernest's reputation. Ernest is one of those chaps who never pays a bill. He gets served Ritz about once a week.
Well, then let us dine at Willis's.
You had much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I haven't the slightest intention of doing anything of the sort.